Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into 30 years of hard-won wisdom from entrepreneur Simon Squibb. We're going to build a roadmap for anyone out there who's ready to finally break free from that 9-to-5 grind.
Okay, let's kick things off with a quote that basically challenges everything we've ever been taught about success. Squibb says this idea is a flat-out lie, one designed to keep you working hard for someone else. If it were true, every nurse would be a millionaire. The real secret to success, it's not just about grinding it out, it's about learning to take smart, calculated risks.
All right, so that brings us to our first section, where we're going to tear down some of the biggest myths that hold aspiring entrepreneurs back. So here's the core idea. Our systems, from school to the typical career advice we get, they're all built to create a predictable workforce. They reward you for playing it safe, for coloring inside the lines, and avoiding failure at all costs. But for an entrepreneur, that's like trying to learn how to swim without ever actually getting into the water. It paralyzes you from taking the very risks you need to take to build something of your own. So, if all the old rules are wrong, how in the world do you actually start? Well, it turns out it's a lot simpler and way more personal than you probably think. First things first, forget all that pressure to come up with some perfect, totally original idea. A business really starts with a feeling, an instinct. You just have to follow your passion, find a simple idea connected to it, and then take the absolute simplest first step you can think of. Don't overcomplicate it. The main goal here is just to get moving. Now, this next idea, it completely flips traditional advice on its head. I mean, think about it. School teaches us to work on our weaknesses, right? To spend all our energy trying to fix the things we're bad at. Squibb's advice is the exact opposite. He says to go all in on your passions, get obsessed, become world-class at what you truly love, and then just find a way to delegate everything else. That obsession, that's your real competitive advantage. And this leads to a massive shift in how you plan. Just forget about that rigid 20-page business plan that's basically useless the second you print it. The alternative is a mind map. Think of it like a living, breathing document. It lets you stay nimble, spot new connections, and explore opportunities as they pop up. Basically, it works the way our brains actually think.
Okay, so you've started. You're in motion. But how do you actually win? Well, it's not about being the best on day one. It's about playing a completely different game.
The number one secret weapon is this idea called delayed gratification. It's all about having the patience to build a massive, loyal user base by giving them incredible value upfront, usually for free. You're building a community long before you even think about building a cash register.
I mean, just look at the giants, right? They all focused on creating massive value for free at the beginning. They knew that once they had the users, once they had the attention and the loyalty, the money, it would follow. They were playing the long game. The second secret to winning sounds completely backward at first, but stick with me here. You have to learn to love losing. Why? Because in the world of entrepreneurship, failure isn't the opposite of success, it's actually a part of it. Squibb points out that the fear of failure, which is drilled into us by a school system that rewards getting a perfect A, is what paralyzes most people. Real entrepreneurs, though, they embrace failure. They see it as a necessary and super valuable learning experience. It's a stepping stone, not a dead end. Seriously, don't worry about looking like a loser in the short term. When your competition underestimates you, it gives you this amazing freedom to experiment, to fail, to pivot, and then, eventually, to completely surprise everyone. It just takes all the pressure off and lets you focus on building. And the final piece of the puzzle to winning is all about luck. But we're not talking about waiting around for some lucky break. No. We're talking about creating your own luck through deliberate effort. You can literally hack luck in 3 ways. First, by being more persistent than anyone else. Second, by having a crystal clear vision of your goal. And third, by embracing those calculated risks that everyone else is too afraid to take. Let's really drill down on that first point. Persistence. We always underestimate what this really takes. Just think about this. Harvard did some research on the world's best salespeople and found that even the top performers followed up with a potential client an average of 5 times before they threw in the towel. Now, 5 times probably sounds like a lot, right? Well, get this. The absolute top 1%, they're playing a whole different ballgame. Squibb himself tells a story about contacting certain target companies every single month for 9 years before they finally became clients. That's not just persistence, folks. That's the art of building a real long-term relationship. And that's where the real luck is made.
And all of this leads us to the final, and I think most important idea. Because this journey isn't just about making money.
It's about building something that actually matters.
So here's the crucial point. A business just makes transactions, but a brand creates a legacy. Your brand is your purpose, your values, your reputation. It's what people say about you when you're not in the room, and it's what they connect with on a deeply human level.
And to find that purpose, you have to start asking the right question. See, the system asks us, what job are you going to do? But the entrepreneur asks, what problem in the world am I uniquely positioned to solve? That shift in perspective, it's everything. It is the absolute foundation of a purpose-driven brand.
And that right there is the ultimate takeaway. When Simon Squibb sold his company for a life-changing amount of money, the buyers were totally clear about it. They told him they weren't just buying a profitable business, they were buying its powerful brand and reputation. That is where the real, lasting value was created.
So we'll end with that. It's the single most powerful starting point for any entrepreneurial journey you can imagine. Thanks for joining this explainer.